seen anyone try to do a anime adaptation.
We're live.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised. Still looks pretty goofy, but it's hard. One Piece is a weird anime as far as graphics. Like, look at the clown guy. Like, oh god. But like, it's just no way you could avoid that. Some of the characters look really odd. Now him, they got perfect. Like, he is down to a T. Vlad looks amazing. I am shocked by the amount of effort they put into that one. That's a perfect. But there's some characters, I don't know how they're not going to make them look really weird. When they get to the Soul King, I don't know how they're going to do that because he is a skeleton with an afro.
All right, let's get started.
He's a skeleton with an afro.
All right.
Don't just ignore that.
We'll get to that in a minute. Let's get started. Welcome to Dicejunkies. I'm Xenodamus. I'm here with
Q.
And on Skype,
we have Bloodaxe.
All right, let's get started. All right, if you tuned in from the beginning, we were already starting to talk about some of the stuff. We had just watched some comparisons for Netflix's One Piece, which surprisingly, I've not seen it yet. I'm not a big One Piece fan. I think after watching some of the stuff we watched, I think Q actually says he might go and watch it.
Yeah, I'm shocked. Well, it's a very odd-looking anime. Like, you know those animes that don't even try to draw people looking human? That's One Piece.
Well, yeah. And I'll say, I don't dislike One Piece because I watched it and said, oh, well, this is crap. I don't really dislike One Piece. I'm just not into One Piece. And it's mostly because I loaded up One Piece one day and I saw there was way too many episodes for me to ever catch up. And I just said, you know, it's sort of like, what's that other, the one with the blue thing and the fire-breathing dude and Fairy Tale.
Oh,
it's like Fairy
long
Tale.
One. That's
you
a
know,
long series.
I tried to get into Fairy Tale, and it wasn't bad, but I got a good ways into it. And I was like, how many episodes do I need to catch up? And I was just like, oh, fuck my life.
Also, Fairy Tale, like One Piece, is prone to taking long.
Yeah.
No, I'm not done. Long side stories. I'm not talking about Naruto. I'm talking about like 500 chapters of the manga about nothing. And it's like we're Sky Shrimp. Just Sky Shrimp. We're hanging out with Sky. It gets way off over here.
So here's the thing. I mean, honestly, I may watch this on Netflix just because maybe it'd give me a chance to actually get into One Piece. Because, like I said, I was overwhelmed by the anime's size.
They'd have to. Well, the good news is that it should be an abridged version. There's no way they can get into like 100 episodes of nonsense on a live action. It's just impossible. No, the actors would die. Like they won't live long enough to finish One Piece. Luffy will be 80. Like, this is a long series that no human being would look the same way when they started by the time they ended. They would have to switch to actors so often. So it may be an abridged, which is, I'd want to watch it for that.
Well, Bloodaxe, you're not an anime guy, but live action here. So, I mean, what I mean, any ideas, any thoughts? Is this something you think you might check out?
No.
All right.
He doesn't even like the references to anime. Like, when we say no anime for Bloodaxe, we mean no anime for Bloodaxe.
No, it's not something I'm interested in. I mean, even when Q was talking about some of the challenges with how they're going to bring certain characters into a live action format, it's going to make you scratch your head. I'm like, okay, I'm checking out now. And
look, I'm all for trying to fit. I just want to see it now because he mentions a skeleton with an afro. Sounds amazing.
I know the Arlogs looked really rough for the few shots I saw him in the live action version. But let me tell you, not the weirdest character in this show. There is a like frigging Rocky Horror Picture Show reference guy whose head is like 10 times the size of his body. And yeah, no, I mean the full outfit, man. He's wearing the full boom. Like, looks just like the Doctor, you know. And it's like, that character looked so creepy, and I don't know how they're gonna do that. They'd have to make a paper mache head and just have little legs dangling under it. I don't know. I have no idea. And then Frankie, and what about the little deer dog? Okay, yeah. I just want to see how they're gonna do this. I'm now fascinated by the idea of how long can they keep the practical effects going before they hit the wall. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then Buggy looks trippy, but that's just gonna happen. But no, like from what we saw from a comparison, they're trying to do a lot of the scenes, the important scenes, accurate. So I think the accuracy is what's getting people, that they're actually putting a lot of effort into. Of course, I saw some things that were wrong. Like there was a scene immediately I said he's supposed to have a sword in his mouth. He's supposed to be using 3 swords in that scene. But that's little nitpicks compared to like what we've seen them do
like
to
I said,
a show.
I've seen some other clips of it, and at one point that I heard them mention his 3-sword style. Now the clip I didn't show it, but they mentioned it, so apparently it is in there.
I'm sure it is because he had the 3rd sword on his hip. And I get it because it's going to be hard practically. Do you know how hard it is to try to hold a katana in your teeth? And it's not exactly easy, man. And it's going to look weird. And the more I'm saying, the more Bloodaxe is going, I'm not watching this. I just see his face as he goes, katana in my teeth. And like, it's an out there anime. The story's good, but it's an out there anime. But they're trying. And sometimes we just want to see you not try. Like, they're trying. And it looked interesting enough to watch a couple episodes, but I think I'm going to burn out fast. I believe probably about 3 episodes.
I don't really give a crap about the critics' reviews as much as the audience reviews. And the audience reviews is at 96% on... So let's see what some of the negatives are, since there's so many positive. It says, as a fan who have read all the manga, save the anime, and all the movies of OP... One Piece. This series is a complete disappointment. I know some changes needed to be necessary to make live action more creditable, but making a bunch of nonsense changes, ignoring the original media completely is not the way to go. And they can claim that Oda was behind, but I think Oda was.
So that's the guy who couldn't get over that he didn't use his 3 swords on Vlad. Like that's the nitpicker. That's the person who couldn't get over those small discrepancies.
Well, I know there were some characters that weren't included because, of course, doing live action, you have to remove some. I saw. Let's see.
There's a lot of. Okay, I didn't know some of the characters were out. I hope it.
Let's see. Where was it?
Because all the characters are very popular. You can't remove any of them, and probably not. Okay. I mean, because I haven't watched the show. I was watching trailers and stuff.
Now, here it says Netflix cuts one major character. Let's see. One segment.
Which major character? Wasn't Usopp, was it?
No, let's see. The live action starts at the beginning of the original. One Piece follows a boy named Luffy. One shonen series. This results in characters like Sanji that feel well underbanked in the live action. Let's see. In the original manga, I don't believe.
Okay, no, Usopp's with them. Usopp and Zoro, Sanji.
Yeah. Cuts this fight as a result, keeps the story zipping along. Let's see.
Wait a minute, Barty is gone? Oh, or is it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't see who exactly got cut, but at least they
got
Usopp.
Yeah, they do say some. I'm not going to read this on air and not, but I mean, the thing is.
I mean, no, it's good to let people know that, like, if there's a character, because the thing is.
But I would expect that there's so many characters in One Piece. I mean, I'm not a fan of One Piece. I've seen that there's so many characters in this thing, so I sort of get where you may have to cut some for a live action.
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, that's what happens when you're trying to convert a really long series with a lot of characters, is you gotta cut stuff. As long as they didn't pull it like we're not gonna put Krillin in friggin' Dragon Ball Z, they're at it. I mean, I don't see a main character off the top missing so far. Yeah. But I was wondering, because as I sat here thinking of the other characters joining the crew, I was going, man, there is a lot of characters in that crew, and they're going to have to do all of them, and the crew grows pretty fast up front. But, I mean, it's getting a lot of traction. So if you're a One Piece fan, the first couple of stuff we saw, which covers the very, very, very early episodes, I liked. I said that's almost scene for scene. But I was only seeing Was it Chopper they cut? See, Flynn asked about Chopper. And that's the Deer Doctor I was talking about. I don't know, Flynn. He came in on a side arc. I don't remember how early he joined the crew. You know what I mean? But like, if they chopped Chopper, Chopper's really popular and has important scenes where he does really big things for the crew. So I don't know. I mean, I hate to say it, but this is why I didn't think this could be good. Is that you can't cut anybody, man. There's some stuff you can't cut. I mean, okay, perfect example. Let's switch to something people may be familiar with or that Bloodaxe get in on. Okay, Bloodaxe. We're big fans of the Crystal Shard and that series. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That whole series of books. And while both me and you love us some Drizzt, you know, and some Brunar, and we love us some Wolfgar, and Catti-brie's aight, and Regis is pretty cool. Yeah, none of those characters can be left out. None of those characters. You couldn't decide to ditch Regis or ditch Wolfgar. You couldn't. So, and then there's a lot of side characters that were really popular, like the dwarf Doodid. You know, I remember the Dwarven brothers, and one of them's a druid. Like, there's certain characters.
Don't forget Jarlaxle and Entreri. I mean, you got a lot.
Oh, you gotta have Jarlaxle and Entreri, of course. Yeah. So, I mean, you can't really leave anyone out without a big gaping hole for fans. So this isn't a knock on them. This is just they took on a project where they're going to be under a microscope because people didn't follow One Piece. I mean, look at me. I'm a casual. I have not gotten all the way up to the time skip arc and all of that. And hockey. I know of it, but I stopped before that. I noticed an error almost immediately.
I'll say reading through some of the negative reviews, most of them have been about bad acting. Or them not liking the casting or something like that. Yeah. One was, I hated the anime and I hate this too. And I was just why'd you watch it? That would be like Bloodaxe giving it a bad review. He doesn't like anime. He knows he doesn't like anime. He doesn't like anime adaptations. So he's not going to watch it, and he's not going to give it a bad review because it's something he's just not interested in.
No, it's worse. Apparently, they didn't like this anime in particular. That's like...
Yeah, I know. So, now, this one actually mentions that the Zoro fight was too short. It was shortened.
Well, they said that about a couple of the fights, yeah.
And so, you know, he gave it a 1 because they disrespected his boy Zoro, you know.
It costs money, though, to do those action scenes. I know
and once again, we know they're speeding through in comparison to
it's probably the abridged version, yeah. I don't expect them to... Now, I will admit that the best part of One Piece is the fights. I mean, honestly, the story's wibbly-wobbly at times, but, man, it has some of the most epic anime fight scenes. So
actually, there is one anime to live action I did watch, and because of that specific incident, I probably won't watch another one, and that was The Last Airbender, which was really, really bad.
You can't really compare anything M. Night Shyamalan does to humans. That man is from space. We know, that's why no one's freaked out they heard there were aliens were real. We've seen M. Night Shyamalan for years. We know that man's an alien. Like... I don't know how he did. Okay, don't get me started. You trying to get me distracted anyway, because I can go on for all day about what he did to Avatar: The Last Airbender.
That was weird.
I don't even consider that a live action adaptation of anime. It was that stupid. It felt like a parody. The man couldn't even get the names right. He's up here calling himself correcting names, and the dang show's in English. How could the names be wrong? They're saying them. I get it if it was from a book, but you can't say you're saying your name wrong and the person's like, I can't be, it's my damn name. That's how crazy that bastard is. You know what I'm saying? He was like, it's Ong. No, it's not. It's Sokka. It's like just Sokka. Or Soka, whatever he did. You just did that to piss me off. Screw you, Bloodaxe.
All right, let's move on. Let's see. Further in TV, we have
more shows.
Henry Cavill Highlander reboot gets an exciting update, supposedly. Basically, John Wick director Chad Stahelski has given fans an exciting update, appearing, let's see, blah, blah, blah. Basically, yeah, Henry Cavill is gonna be in this, and he's trying to look at building this as a franchise. He does not want to just reboot the movie and cash in. He actually, from what they were talking, they actually want to take it. First movie be more about the concept, about the immortality, the immortals, and build up the universe.
World building.
Yeah, and do a lot of world building, not necessarily have a lot of story going on or anything like that, but be an introduction to the world of the immortals, which could be interesting, also could lose interest of people. So, as long as you throw in some action in there and sword fighting, you'll probably be fine.
I finally saw some of John Wick. I'll just say this real quick, and I don't know how much the director's responsible for how impressive the action scenes were, but if you tell me he's also bringing on his stunt director, I'd be very excited because those John Wick movies still holds up. That's some pretty good action, man.
Yeah.
They made Halle Berry look like a badass, and that's hard. I saw Catwoman.
Yeah, no, I mean, the thing with that is the actors that were involved in John Wick also got involved into the choreography and stuff like that. I mean, Keanu Reeves and Halle Berry, they actually, there's a shooting range that does a lot of that choreographic training. They actually went through courses and learned the proper ways of handling weapons.
Like quick reloader.
And even Halle Berry went out there. They had her go out there. So
that's why she didn't look terrible as usual.
Yeah.
I love Halle Berry, but her action movies are painful. Okay, yeah. I've watched them.
So I mean, and that has to do a lot with the actors being
vested,
yeah, and it seemed like they got a lot of good vested actors in the.
Have you seen the John Wick movies?
I have. I've watched all.
Dude, that scene with her, those dogs. I have never seen dogs that bad. I am like that made me want a dog.
No,
I'm gonna go play handler again because that dog was awesome.
Yeah, I binged them a while back and watched all. I haven't seen the fourth one. I
haven't either.
But I've watched the first three.
Yeah, I've seen most of all of the first three because I was like hanging out with somebody at the time, so I was watching parts of it. But like the action scenes were incredible.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was just like,
I'll be honest, I watched the first one a long time ago. I really enjoyed it, but I was like, like most films, I was like, it's the second one. It's an action flick. The second of an action flick usually sucks.
Yep, except John Wick. Action was still good.
Yeah, no, John Wick.
I think it's about shooting a dog or something. I couldn't. I think, but I don't know. I was too busy going like some good action. So if they bring that style and effort, and let me tell you something: if there was anybody who would put that much effort into his stunt coordination, Henry Cavill's a fan. He's a fanboy. I could see him being like, "Yo, teach me how to sword fight." I could see him doing that. I can really see him getting interested in making the fights look as good as they can.
Well, dude, I mean, John Wick actually made for a reasonable suspension of disbelief to build up an assassin organization. Like, I was able to actually go, okay, I can get into this. Like I didn't feel like
John Wick's immortal, man. He can't die.
I didn't feel like it was.
No magic was there, yeah. Other than John Wick's action star unkillableness, the fights looked good. Heck, there were plenty of times that he didn't die because people did not kill him. It wasn't like he got in a bad position several times. And you saw him get tired and beat up. You never saw him go past that, but he would get messed up. Yeah. He won't die, but he
utilized his connections. He utilized,
the horse. Oh God, the scene with the horse. Bloodaxe. Have you seen the John Wick movies?
Oh yeah, no, they're really good. I've thoroughly enjoyed them.
What he did with that horse?
But anyway, instead of advertising for John Wick, because it doesn't need it.
It's also advertising for this if they bring that to this.
But he says, so he says, so my take on it would be to somehow maintain the vibe and mythology and feeling of the first movie, not go off the rails with too much plot, and really develop the world of Immortals.
I like it. Well, it's kind of like what the series did. The series was a lot of world building. Yeah. The movies were like, here's the plot of Connor, McLeod, right? Connor was the one for the movies, right?
Well, no, I'll be honest.
What?
I mean,
Duncan McLeod was in the TV series.
yeah, the TV series was Duncan McLeod.
I said Connor. I said
Connor
the movies. I said Connor McLeod was the one in the movies. The movies were about Connor McLeod's story. Yeah. But the series, while it followed Duncan McLeod, it had a lot of world building. Like, remember the organization, the Watchers, and all of that. So I'd like a lore, I'm saying, a lore build on this.
Now, I will say what was cool about the Highlander, for one,
swords,
is, I mean, you don't have to worry about people telling you screwed up canon or anything like that, because Highlander screwed up canon every release.
Every movie crapped on the previous movie very hard.
So there's no worries there. Two, and they mentioned this here, which is
Michael's
cool.
Right.
Is that with the way the Immortals are set up, it says when you can pick any period in time, any nationality, any culture, any type of person, and make them immortal, and then have a duel and deal with the burden of immortality, that's fucking cool. And that is the thing. They don't have to worry about replacing characters or anything like that. You can take or make up any character of any nationality, gender, anything, and start a story with them in this world.
I want to see Shaka Zulu.
So you don't have to worry about trying to do inclusivity by changing Connor McLeod's race, gender, anything like that. You have a world.
Just grab another
where
immortal.
You can just grab another immortal, and he sees that, which is something I think a lot of the TVs don't see, is the fact that you don't have to rewrite a character.
It's actually way more respectful to tell a new story.
Yeah, you can tell a new story.
Seconds,
you can grab
fifths.
another person in that universe and follow them for a while. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
So.
And then when you do that, it's even more stakes, because you want to know why? Because we don't expect Connor McLeod to die. But when you follow another character, there's tension, because you don't know if their arc is going to end with them getting decapitated or not. So you actually have better stakes. Like, if you do a series where you follow several characters, then you put in one of my favorite elements, which is anyone can die. You want a sword fight between two immortals to have stakes? Have it where you don't know who's going to win, but you know somebody's going down.
I think the TV series play on that. Michael mentions, personally, I think John Wick, director, will add guns to the sword mix. They actually had that, I think, in the TV series.
Yeah, he went off. He said, hey, it's supposed to be with swords.
Yeah,
he was chasing
where somebody shot an immortal and then cut off his head.
Yo, as a young guy, and he pissed Duncan off, and Duncan was chasing it down. It's supposed to be with swords.
Yeah,
it was great. I remember, dude. I watched Highlander.
Yeah,
I watched Highlander.
But yeah, and I mean the thing is with this too is, I mean, they are mentioning a TV series, and honestly, I think the TV series did Highlander
way better,
the most cred, and so if they can reboot the franchise and come out with good TV, good movies, I think that's cool. Now, it's Hollywood. I have no hope.
You want to know something the TV series did really well? Probably the best thing about the TV series is that, but I'd like to see them do it even more like Game of Thrones, where anyone can die, was that it was so tense when you started really liking something that it wasn't Duncan, because you knew that there could only be one. So there were times I was like, dude, I like that guy. And you're like,
yeah,
crap. There could be only one.
Now, not all the immortals were trying to be.
Some of them were passive.
Some of them were just passive. It was just like, hey, look, why does there have to be only one? We can just live forever.
Yeah, that ain't how it ended, though. I watched the whole series.
Well, because there's always some asshole that wants to take somebody's head.
Yeah, it was one. They brought in Connor just to.
Oh, anyway. No, man, I think this is actually a reboot that's doable, and I wouldn't.
Spoilers, but it's a reboot, so. Dude, Highlander's so old, I don't care. Yeah, Connor.
So we'll see what happens. I mean, Henry Cavill is one. If you have him in the cast, I think, he's gonna story check you. So,
well, the thing is, like you said, there's almost no canon to break. The only way they can mess this up is literally if you don't have the quickening when you cut someone's head off. That's like the only thing that's been consistent. Beyond that, everything else is up for grabs, man. Even the quickening, sometimes it goes to the closest immortal. That's happened one time where they were like, oh, I got the quickening, okay. Because he happened to be a little bit closer. You're just like, because I think somebody fell off a boat and got tore up by the motor. And then the quickening just said, you. And he's just like, oh, crap, man, I didn't even kill that guy. So, but other than that, there's not a canon to ruin other than you're immortal. You cut off a dude's head, you gain something. Because honestly, what you get from the quickening, it's very vague. Sometimes it's psychic powers. I don't know. Sometimes it makes you evil. If you watch the series or absorb too many evil immortal souls, you might become evil, Duncan. So, I mean, there's almost no canon to break, dude. That's like saying you're breaking the Doctor Who canon with as long as you don't break the one rule that they broke. And, oh, my God, there's a way to ruin anything.
All right, let's go jump into some video game news.
They can ruin anything. Because there's only one rule for that show. Doctor Who had one rule.
Yeah. Let's not talk about that. I don't want to talk about that.
It's not even Gallifreyan anymore.
No. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. We haven't heard from these guys in a while.
Who is the Chinese room, though? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, apparently it changed, too. It was being developed by and everything. It says, first, we learned that the new developer is the Chinese room. This came out in PAX West, which was this past week. And the studio is also known for Dear Esther, Amnesia.
That's the only game I recognize.
I heard Dear Esther was really good. I don't know about that one. Amnesia. Let's see. Everybody's gone to the Rapture. I don't know.
Those are little off weird horrors.
Yeah. Well, and that's so if you watch they actually have an introduction to the Chinese room, and they talk about the stuff. And one of the things that they're proud of is the weirdness in their games, and they want to continue down.
Yeah, but mechanics. The games are not that mechanically complex.
Yeah. So they're excited to pick it up. Who knows? Like I said, I'm not big. I don't know much about the Chinese.
See which episode. So. See Michael O'Brien talking about the weirdness of Highlander. See which episode. I'm telling you, man. That's how much I don't know what to expect from the Chinese room.
They show a lot of the development, and they talk about staying true to a lot of the characters and the genre. Now, depending on which version of the Masquerade.
That's also, But it said the Masquerade, but yes, there are, I think, up to 5 editions of the Masquerade, and the latest one changed around quite a few things. I don't know, dude. I don't know enough. I need gameplay. I'm gonna need some. Yeah. Oh, that is a Nosferatu. That is definitely a Nos. That's not a bad way to do a Nos. That is definitely a Nos.
Yeah, they did do a new trailer where they showed off some of it. So, and it actually didn't look bad. So. Now, I mean, a lot of this I think we saw originally. So
is that Tremere Blood Magic? I love me some Tremere
there was some blood magic. I saw the blood magic. Let's see.
Tremere. I'm not Bruja, I'm Tremere.
Oop, let me turn off this volume so we don't get...
Nice uppercut.
There it is.
That looks like Tremere Blood Magic. I like it.
So, yeah. It definitely. I mean, I'm glad that it wasn't dropped. I mean, I was a fan of Bloodlines. Now, whether or not it'd be good, who knows? I mean, but that's everything. Everything we don't know until we get it.
Michael O'Brien says that they did a tabletop RPG of the Masquerade over here. It's apparently good. Does he mean that the Chinese room did it?
Blood.
That's my kid.
Yeah. Anyway. I mean, the tabletop RPG Vampire the Masquerade's been around forever. They recently redid the 5th edition or something.
It's so
I don't know. It's which was an adaptation from the Masquerade Second. I don't remember. Anyway,
they redid Werewolf the Apocalypse again.
Yeah,
too. That just came out.
But yeah, no. I mean, I played Vampire the Masquerade, the earlier editions. Way long time ago. I mean, back in the late 90s when we were playing. So
I played Bloodlines. It was a hell of a game. I would love to see a good sequel. I don't know if this is going to have the in-depth role-play elements, though, because what made Vampire Bloodlines so interesting was it was a surprisingly detailed role-play, with it being a different experience based on your clan. Like, what kind of vampire you were had dramatic. If you're playing a Nosferatu, it was wildly different. You're having to go through the sewers. You're not even walking on the surface. It was a unique game in a lot of ways. And I don't know. Every scene I see is action. And that's why I'm worried. I want to role play. I got action games. I got plenty of action games.
Yeah, so the press release also reveals Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines 2 will feature a different story than the game previously in development.
Oh, you're a thin blood.
At Hardsuit Labs, which the previous game, from what I remember, the story, people were pissed about it.
That's the original. Now you're playing an elder vampire. Oh, well, crap. That's why you got so many powers. Okay.
New version of development players, will take the role of an elder vampire.
That's an improvement, because nobody wants to play a thin blood that knows Masquerade. Like, ugh. That's like playing watered down as heck vampire. I don't want to play a thin blood. So, but also I'm kind of alarmed at playing an elder, because that means you're going to be kicking some butt, because elder vampires are beasts. You know what? Give it time, we'll see, because who knows if they're even going to be the one to finish it. It's changed hands a few times. It's been in development for so long.
Well, and they are saying, they said next year, fall is their expected release right now. So
been told a lot of things.
Yeah. But we'll see.
Yeah, Half-Life 3, it's also, what I'm saying? It's all coming out together. Ghost.
But, I think this game with the previous developer, was supposed to be, but the developers pushed it back. The original target release was Q1 of 2020, so over 3 years ago was the original target release.
They started working on it way before then, though.
Yeah.
Bloodline started getting worked on. Bloodline 2 guys started working on way back after Bloodline 1 came out, and then it died. Started back up, died, started up. In fact, hey, there you go, Vampire. Keeps getting torpid, man. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
And then it gets dabblerized by a new company, you know what I'm saying? These are all vampire terms for those who know.
What you got, Blood?
Let me come off you because my chaos here is exorbitant today. I've looked at the Bloodlines game on Xbox, and I've debated getting it from time to time because we played tabletop. Q and I, we did Brujas for a while. We did werewolves, and he always wanted to play a mage and stuff. So,
Brujas aren't werewolves, but they're the closest thing.
Huh?
No, sorry, Brujas aren't werewolves, but they're vampires that are very resemblant to werewolves.
No, we played Bruja vampires, and then we played werewolves, and then you did a mage, and so no, I know of the Masquerade, but I'm not. It's kind of like Warhammer 40K. I know surface level knowledge, but not deep into the lore of it. So depending on the reviews, it's probably not a day one for me, but I would be interested in playing a fun action game. Because everyone that's been watching the show knows I'm a huge Castlevania nut. And anytime I get to deal with the vampires and the supernatural, I'm down. So this is more in line for me versus the One Piece anime we were discussing earlier. So, this is a lot more interesting.
Imagine if there was DLC that lets you run around the city as a werewolf. I love being the wolf amongst the vampires. That'd be fun.
I have my fingers crossed, man. I hope this is good, because if it's good, then I hope they'll do a werewolf apocalypse after that. They
can't do mage. Mage cannot be translated.
No mage.
Mage is bending reality nonsense. But
I used to play the Hunter game on Xbox.
Hunter the Reckoning?
Hunter the Reckoning.
Hunter the Redeemer?
Hunter the Redeemer. Oh my God! How many hours did we burn playing that?
God, we played so much of that.
So I love White Wolf's, series of stuff, and would love to play more of it if they do a good job. So fingers crossed they do a good job on this, and I will beg for them to do more, and do. Let's see another Hunter. Man, Hunter would be a great multiplayer.
Oh boy, would it? That's a good game for a multi. Dude, that's what we kind of were hoping Redfall was.
Yeah,
it
was. Redfall.
We were hoping Redfall was going to be a Hunter the Redeemer type game, and then they forgot it existed because I went and checked, and they still ain't done nothing. That game is dead in the water. It's floating up. It's floating face down in the water next to Wonderlands. It's dead.
No, it's floating next to Back for Blood.
So I mean, if we can get White Wolf stuff actually coming out with quality, man, it opens the door for a lot of stuff.
Okay, in our chat, Flynn had to do the reference. Don't use a bazooka. Richard is if you haven't heard this name before, Richard is a friend of ours who played with us, who's a psycho. And in Hunter the Redeemer, or the Reckoning, maybe the first one, remember Hunter the Redeemer, he tried to use a bazooka on a vampire while standing in the middle of the group of the game. Mm-hmm. The vampire said, ouch. He gibbed everybody. He literally, he pulls it out, and Tim goes, no! Or was it Flynn? One of us yells, no! And he's like, boom, and you just see all our bodies just like salsa.
Think, if this takes off well enough, maybe we'll see Kindred come back. Remember the TV series, Kindred?
Oh, yeah.
That only made it like 6 episodes because I think it was running back to back with Highlander, which could happen again.
There could be only one. There could be only one. There's a DLC crossover. Let me play as a Highlander. There could be only one.
It was another one of those shows along with like Firefly that sort of just got missed and canceled early, even though it was a great show. Yeah. But I would love to see more of this stuff coming. I like the mythology of vampires in Vampire the Masquerade. You know, with the different clans with different abilities.
It makes a good video game. Like when Bloodline still holds up. There are people still modding to make it play normally. I've played Bloodlines not very recently, but I mean I played Bloodlines like 20 years after it came out. Like,
I tried to go back to Bloodlines, man. It was rough to get those graphics, man, and just it was hard. It was hard to play it. I couldn't do it.
It's a good game.
Yeah, it was, man, but it's hard going back like that. And I tried.
But let's see what they do. Well, there you go. Here's a theoretically modern take. And if it has the role play elements, because that's the thing about Bloodlines. I spent so much time walking around talking to people and role playing that I spent more time being a vampire in this world than I did trying to find a fight.
Yeah, and I mean, I will say, I mean, the video they show is more of the action variety.
100%, yeah.
They do show some exploration and RP elements, but it's definitely not a lot. But we'll see. You know,
early,
it's
though.
close.
We'll
yes, this is closer next year. We'll probably get some better details. But like I said, it has possibility, and it has a possibility to open up a lot of cool games if it takes off. So
the question is, do I go Tremere or Bruja? If it gets multiplayer, and then, Bruja.
Do both.
We'll go whoop on these gangrel posers, these bikers. Oh, y'all think y'all so hot, Mr. Gangrel? That's
if they did multiplayer its own. Yeah.
Bruja for life, man. Unless I want my magic, then it's Tremere. But you don't want to be a team up my Tremere. He will leave you to die. My Tremere cannot be trusted. I will even tell you right now, my Tremere cannot be trusted.
You don't trust anybody in Masquerade.
You can't trust my Tremere when you should be able to trust my Tremere. I'm saying he's untrustworthy for a vampire in the Masquerade.
And you're an elder vampire? I mean,
an elder Tremere really can't be trusted. He just wants you. You're just a walking source of blood for him to be like, oh, I need to blow something up. Throws you at it. There we go. Blood magic.
Well, what generation do you think that'll be with starting off as an elder? I mean,
can't go
5?
Too far. Ooh. What was the lowest you could start as? Well, actually, we could start. We were min-maxers. We had to get it down to I think it was 5. Yeah,
5, I think was the lowest.
I don't think they're going to go on with 5. There's got to be room for growth. Yeah. Unless it's not an RPG and it's just an action game. If it's an RPG, then they got to give you some temptation to dabble-rise. So they got to get you a couple down so you can be tempted. Yeah. You start as an 8.
They may not even have that element.
You start as an 8, but there's 3 opportunities. Climb the ranks.
Yeah. All right.
Now to talk about what's been eating our time.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, Bloodaxe. He hasn't got it yet, so this is mostly me and Q gonna ramble on about this. But Starfield, man, general release is in 3 days. I think actually Thursday at like 7:00. So 2 days. But if you got the PC edition with the deluxe that has the expansion or DLC and all that included whenever it comes out, then you got it 5 days early, which means we got it Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Time. And that's been my weekend. So no, I'll be honest. The way this game is paced, it's good to take it and play some, enjoy the adventure, the exploration, take a break. It's not a fast-paced game. So as far as it goes, you'll want to, in my opinion, you'll want to take it slow. Now, that may be one of the reasons also for the may also be the reason why some of these companies didn't get advertisements. I know your take on that, but with the pace of the game and the amount of hours you have to really put into the game to really get into it, I don't know if a lot of your reviewers would have put that kind of effort into the game.
They don't. We know that.
Because we've seen they'll spin it up for 4 hours, and if you only play this game for 4 hours, you ain't touched the surface. I've spent over 20 hours in the game, and I haven't touched the surface. Yeah. So
I was still in a tutorial 4 hours in.
Yeah. So what's your take on it, man?
Well, that part of the game in general.
Well, let's talk about this first, and then we'll finish it up with the
first
rest
of all,
more on the game.
What you said actually helped me get an even better point, because that's right. Because here's the thing: one, the people that didn't get copies are these review outlets that nobody cares about. I watched reviews before I bought the game, and I can tell you none of them were any of the people mentioned. Not even IGN. I don't go to them for my game reviews. And you know why? Because when I pulled up a YouTube video, you know what the guy said? He says, hey, man, I took a break. I'm 40 hours in, doing my review, and I'm going back in. 40 hours. This guy did 40 hours before he reviewed the game. That means he put in 8 hours a day like a job. None of these people at these gaming, these outlets do that. So, and you know what he said? I'm barely in it. He said, I'm toe in. I got a couple of toes in, and that's important. But also, some outlets were talking crap before the game even came out. And I'm not going to send you a copy if you're talking crap, man. You got a hostile point of view before my game even comes out. But honestly, none of those sites was going to play the game, like you said, long enough to give a review. Yeah. Like me and him, we're pretty deep in. We've been playing the game since we got it. We popped in, I've got, a first day, I think I popped in at least about 8-9 hours, and then another, 8-9 hours. So even I'm well over 20-something hours, and Zeno put even more than that in. So it's because I slept, through one of the days.
I forgot to close the game a couple of times when I slept, so I don't know how accurate this is, but my Steam does say I played 49 and a half hours.
Yeah, you're right. That's off by at least 9 hours.
Yeah. I think it's off by at least 9.
But, so I get it. And honestly, nobody owes you a review copy. You know? I mean, really? Because here's the thing. You want to know another thing about the review copy thing? I don't know any game that doesn't get a patch before it comes out when they do review copies. So, you're also reviewing the game that's not going to be what ships out half the time. Now, Bloodaxe can get on that. We know that all the time, dude, that, games get that day one patch. You know what I'm saying? Outriders, Wonderlands itself, Remnant had got some immediate patches. It's games get patched, and when you get a review copy, you're usually getting that game before it's even gotten hit by its first patch.
Yeah.
And that can change quality of life a lot. That really can. So the review copy thing is really only helpful to get enough information to see if you're interested in buying it immediately. But the real reviews to me are after it's been out a couple of days for the general public. and it's been hit by a few patches. Then you're like, okay, this is the experience that you're going to have more than likely for the next few months until they patch again. So I'm fairly at the top of that. Then I'm like, they don't owe you a review copy and, deal with it. All right, what did you find? Somebody was raising a fuss?
No, I was looking for something I actually read earlier when Pete Hines on the game was talking about some bugs in the game. Here it is. Pete Hines on Starfield, Bethesda, and bugs was we embrace the chaos. So that just tells you something.
Yeah, they're like, hey, man, it's going to be a wild experience. They just go with it, and then they will fix it along the way. So that's the base thing is about the review copies. Now, I'm more interested in hearing your opinion on the game since you've got 40 in, I've got 20 plus. What do you think?
Yeah. And this actually is relevant because he says we embrace the chaos. We could make a safer, less buggy, less risky game if we wanted to, but what we try to lean into is player freedom. Yes, there's going to be some little things here and there where your companion might stand a little too close to you sometimes, yet the freedom you get and the things that happen because of that, we absolutely love and embrace. And I will say that is something I have enjoyed about the game. Because when I played the game, you have multiple options. I persuaded a guy and then shot him in the head. And there's no problem with that. The game.
I was there for that.
I did a peaceful resolution and then just said, but I want your stuff. So, yeah.
I just wanted to prove I could talk you down. Now die.
Yeah.
It didn't even count as murder. No. I did it too. It didn't count as a murder.
Well, he was a pirate.
Yeah, screw that guy. He's a pirate. Space pirates. No love.
He has no rights.
Because in Skyrim, you used to get in trouble if you talk him down. Well, now you attacked a non-hostile. No, this game goes, nope, that guy's a murderer. We don't care. You can still shoot him in the face.
But no, I will say I've felt everywhere I've gone, there have been multiple ways of doing
I've skipped so much legwork, man. I just walked up to a dude and had him just give me the key. Oh, yeah. Like, I'm supposed to sneak into this place. I just walked up and said, come on. He's like, all right, don't tell nobody. I was just like, that worked? I walked in there, walked out, like, holy crap, that worked.
You pick 3 traits when you start the game, or you can. They're optional. I will say, if you don't pick 3 traits, you're probably not playing it right. Just do it. Just pick the 3 traits. They may sound bad, and I will tell you, look, I picked parents. Parents was our kid stuff, which basically says your parents are alive, and part of your income, 2%, goes to your family. And it doesn't say that you'll be benefited by anything. It just says you have parents, and you're going to have to pay them.
Well, you help pay for their place because they're retired, and you get them a really nice place to stay.
And I honestly just picked it because I thought it'd be cool to be in a game and actually not have dead parents. Now, I will say the benefits have way outweighed the 2%, just because of the story elements from it. Like my parents show up to my job. Sometimes they leave me notes, and they give me stuff.
Well, they're your parents.
And
now, the adoring fan ain't gave me crap. That little bastard's been on my ship taking up a slot and ain't done nothing. He's earned his keep. It says he gives you gifts. He ain't gave me nothing. He's just been chilling.
I chose wanted because I was like, oh, no, it'd be cool to have somebody. I've never been jumped.
I got jumped on the first map.
It's one of those things.
I was level 1. They were level 5.
Being wanted has done nothing but make my life easier. Because when I'm persuading people,
You're talking to criminals who can literally be like, man, what do you know? And be like, yo, man, I'm wanted.
I know how it is.
I know what it's like in these streets. You got street cred with wanted, man.
Yeah, you do.
You do. He's not lying. You have street cred with wanted. But I had to earn mine in blood. I was level 1 and got jumped by a pack of level 5 bounty hunters. And I called him up because he told me, dude, don't worry about Bounty Hunter. And he said, wanted. Nobody even showed up. I'm in the tutorial. I'm walking around on a tutorial and dudes rushing up to me. Yo,
you say you're in the tutorial. You're way outside the bounds of the tutorial. You're technically in once again, freedom.
I was on the other side of the planet, but it was the planet the tutorial was on. I was on the dark side of it, mining ice creatures, but like, I was there. Main thing is I can't believe they sent level 5s after my level 1. That was wild.
But yeah.
I killed them all, though, with my mining tool.
So, I mean, are there bugs? Yes, there's bugs. I've seen a few.
Really? Well, I've had, like...
I was running through a base, and my companion ended up getting stuck in between a staircase and a wall and was just in this constant vibration mode. So I had to leave and come back to get her unstuck. But I've seen where once one of the pirates that I was fighting got stuck like that on top of a table, and I just walked over and shot him until he quit vibrating. It worked fine. Sometimes
it's great though. I had a guy that I shot something exploding, and he shot up, and his head got stuck in the ceiling, and his body was just dangling, and it looked awesome because he was just. I was like. It was hilarious. I was like, oh, wow. That looks like it hurts.
Negatives have been mostly oxygen, man. I'm not a big fan of the oxygen stat replacing stamina. Fitness, because I guess I'm going to have to, man, because also... My carry capacity, I'm almost always overloaded, which means I'm constantly using up way too much oxygen.
I need to find a way to resolve that issue. I have put as much storage space as I can put on this ship, and it still can fly.
I hate using skill points to increase my carry because it doesn't really help a lot as far as within the game, but I'm going to have to. I need to get the ship carry skill and and my personal carry. And increase that.
At least you talked to me and found out because you didn't know how to put more cargo. I didn't throw some more cargo.
I will say some of the features you just got to figure out. They do not really guide you very well on how to do things. I mean, lock picking was confusing as hell at first until I figured it out, and then it was relatively simple.
Shipbuilding is the trickiest though. Like you won't even know how to how to buy parts for your ship. And I'll just tell you, if you're listening, you have to go into the shipbuilder and click on a blank space, not on the ship itself, and then it brings up a menu to buy parts.
Yeah, and
that does not say that anywhere. There's no icon that says hit A. There is nothing.
Yeah. And then, he mentioned before the show, he was like, man, I hadn't figured out how to sell the ship. I was like, go to the buy ship, and there's a sell option.
At least it shows that. It doesn't show the parts.
When you talk to the person, they allude nothing to the fact that that's where you go to sell.
Mm-mm. So, I mean, there's some tricky parts. There's some tricky, but is it fun? The best way to put it is we were talking and saying there's whole parts of the game we haven't even stuck a toe in.
Well, I mean, just our play styles, dude. You're playing more of the researcher, scientist.
I'm all in the science tree.
I'm going more into exploring.
I've already built my ship. It's a big, clunky research station. It's got extra crew space and research space, and it's way overweight already.
I've been hopping on random planets and just scanning material, scanning resources.
He's already 15. I'm only 10. But I can make all kind of cool gun upgrades.
The side quests have been absolutely fun. I've enjoyed the side quests.
Try those.
I've spent more time on side quests than anything else, which is why I'm more higher level than him.
I'm in the lab, man. Hey, you know what you can't do though? Can't put an extended mag.
You are correct, sir.
See, that's the funny part is that he's got more combat than me, but I can upgrade my weapons. They're both viable paths. It's actually surprising. And both of us wish we had more stamina. That's the fitness tree. Oh, God, I want that fitness tree.
Yeah.
But the game is, and what gets me, the only thing that almost scares me is how often a random person has a major, side quest. They don't have a little question mark over their head, dude. You could just be walking through a bar and be like, Hey, I'm gonna talk to this guy. They say, you're involved in a massive quest.
Well, yeah, especially if they have a name. I mean, if they have a name, but also you get a lot of quests.
Sometimes it ain't a name person.
You get a lot of quests just walking around town. You'll hear people talking. If you stop and listen to their conversation, you'll pick up a quest. Especially the guards. Like anytime you see a guard, stop for a second, let them talk, and you'll probably get a quest.
Dude, I was in Cydonia, and there was a nerd at a table with a bunch of paper on it. Now I'm in a quest to find inhabited planets and sell them dream houses. I don't have the dream house straight, but I'm helping other people get dream houses. That was a random conversation.
I did pay off my mortgage.
Jeez, you played that much? You've already paid off the house?
Oh, yeah, I paid off my mortgage.
That's all right. That's why your ship's small.
That is why my ship is,
See, I'm busy in the lab, putting a lab on my ship.
I went around raiding and killing and walking around with 500 pounds of gear so that I could go and sell it.
You got a lot of money if you paid it off. Well, see, this is the funny thing, because Bloodaxe, I'm surprised hasn't piped in, because we would think I wouldn't be the ship guy because I'm not really into space stuff. But I now believe that I'm going to end up with like a galley, like research super base. He's going to be flying around in a combat ship with guns. I'm just going to have this freaking flying brick that I just put auto to, because remember they had the automated defenses. I'm just going to put auto turrets. I'm not going to take in battles. I'm just going to let my ship kill.
I need to go check out my new starship. My dad won it in a poker tournament.
You're so much further along than me. Your dad won a ship. I got a backpack and an old pistol. That's all I got. And that adoring fan ain't done nothing but keep and getting on my nerves. He better come with some gifts or I'm going to kick him out.
I get annoyed easily, so I knew not to pick that one.
But I thought he might be like mom and dad. Now, at least I will notice this. Nobody's jumped me since I blew away that first set of bounty hunters, but I think it's only once a week they come. Because they said something about the bounty goes up every week, so I'm guessing when an end-day week passes, I'll get jumped again. I still can't believe how quick they jumped me. I'm just like, man, I wandered off the beaten path.
Yeah.
And they showed up immediately.
Dude, I'm mad about that. Now, that is another thing. I've been having trouble finding ships. I need to destroy 5 ships so I can upgrade my piloting. I've managed to find 4. And I've gone all over the galaxy. Now, you mentioned a hostile tag on some planet,
yeah,
so
when I was looking around,
try to look for that.
There were some things that said hostile activity in the area. I'm like, hey, man, go rolling. I ain't bringing my flying research station into a fight if I don't have to, because it is like, we all know that I'm not Bloodaxe. My ship is not pretty. It's not even aerodynamic anymore after what I did to it. It's not even aerodynamic. It stopped being aerodynamic very quickly. The only reason it isn't uglier is I need a better jump drive because I'm already overweight. Now, Bloodaxe will have his ship, Mrs. Bloodaxe's ship for his son. He'll have a ship for when he's in a certain mood. He'll build the goddamn Nostromo, from... he'll have the day ship. He'll go find an NPC and name her Ripley. Because now when it comes to building, there's nobody I know who's as meticulous as Bloodaxe.
I'll have the Sulaco and the Nostromo. What are you talking about?
Yep. But when it comes to raw, stupid function and ugly, no one will beat my ugly brick. My brick will have everything. I'll be able to have a whole family chilling out. I'm going to be a vacation cruiser. I'm going to get up the capacity for passengers because, yes, there is a difference between putting in facilities for passengers and that. And I'm just going to do pleasure tours. That's how I'm going to pay for it. Make a flying casino. That's how I pay for my mad science. I can't wait till they add some DLC so I can start chopping off stuff and replacing it. Like, I'm going to make a Frankenstein. This character's not just a scientist. He is a mad scientist. I'm intending to do evil science. I want to just get in there and just start chopping off parts, man. I'm going full cyborg if they let me. And if they do like they did in Big MT for Fallout New Vegas, they will have a DLC where you can do cybernetics.
I don't know. As far as DLC goes, I think the first thing I want to see added into the game is a land vehicle. Well, dude, I want to explore. I want to explore more. Walking sucks.
You got a jetpack. You got a jetpack.
And honestly, I feel like not having land vehicles is just dragging the game along a little bit. So.
I guess I wouldn't mind a 4-wheeler, but honestly, I'd rather a better jetpack where I can just fly.
Even if I need to do like, and I don't know, maybe that's in there. There's also a lot I haven't done yet.
Actually, what other people said is they want in atmosphere flying your ship. Now that would be nice.
That would be cool too.
You could fly around over the surface of your ship and then look down and see stuff and then land.
But like one of the things, like you get land vehicles in No Man's Sky if you built an outpost, and then you could
outpost.
So, that would be something cool. Just so I go, well, I'm gonna explore this planet. So I set up an outpost. I don't know.
No, I'm just saying that because neither one of us has messed with the outpost system. So that's again Bloodaxe.
But I actually did hear somebody else mention the lack of vehicles, which
there is a problem with that. It's just finding the bloody time to be able to play it to the where I can get to that point. Because you got to remember, my grounded stuff was built during the lockdown.
True.
And so
you're saying no Moon Palace?
Dude, if I could, I would. And you know me, I'll have like cargo bays full of resources. You're like, where's the iron ore? It was in cargo bay 3, row 4, box 2. Because I've always, had so much resources that it was ridiculous. Whenever we have a new update, most people have to go farm the supplies. I would already have a couple of hundred of them. Like, okay, let's go build it. And Q's like, let's go. And then we'd fight stuff with it. Especially those bloody twinkling shells. Oh my gosh.
You did. I can't believe you farmed that back when the farming for that was so crap. And then they fixed it later. And I was like, Bloodaxe's only thing I feel bad for him is that he'll go do all of that. Then they'll come back later and just go, yeah, we made it so you can go back and forth on the zip lines. You don't need to. We completely streamlined all of this. And he's like built like the hardest way possible. When they got you up to being able to carry like, 30 friggin'. And I was just like, I remember when you could only carry 5 and you built a castle that way.
Yeah.
You could carry 20, but the armor and the weapons you were wielding counted as inventory slots. So, yeah.
The quality of life, man. So that's why with Cyberpunk, y'all laughed at me. But I'm going to play Cyberpunk now for the first time fully through after the patch when all the nice quality of life is hit.
And that's coming out in a couple of weeks too.
End of the month.
And I'm debating whether or not to start from scratch because it's been so long since I played Cyberpunk. I don't remember the game.
Well,
I remember the story, but I don't remember the game mechanics. That I really do want to do that super special Johnny Silverhand ending that I never got a chance to do.
I plan on starting over, but it'll be a while before. It won't be when the update comes out. I've got Starfield. And I got Lies of P coming.
It's harder to just find time to play now, and it's one of those things that's bittersweet. I have more time with my family and stuff. Mrs. Bloodaxe is now home; she's not traveling anymore. I've got a new job to where I'm putting in like 10, 11-hour days, sometimes 6, 7 days a week. So, life is hectic, but I do miss my ability to be able to play with my friends. But there's just so much good stuff coming out now that I wish had come out earlier in the year.
Yeah.
So I could actually have paced myself because I've enjoyed Remnant too.
Well, no, I think that was the big miss of the pandemic, man. Like, the pandemic was a stale time for game releases, and it's like we had the most time to play games.
Like, you know how great it would be if this was the pandemic summer? Starfield, Lies of P, Cyberpunk update.
Yeah. Not to wish for the pandemic again.
Diablo. We may not have a choice, but like Diablo, all this coming out after the pandemic.
I have to get my old job back. I would have to get my old job back for sure.
Oh, yeah. Your job is not pandemic friendly.
No, not this one. No, it's not.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's going to wrap us up. I got to play some more Starfield.
You can get to Starfield. It's not going
I need to go check out the ship Dad won in a poker game.
Yeah, I think I'm going to play some Remnant later, but Mrs. Bloodaxe wants to play some Gears 5, so I may even kick up some Gears 5 with the fam.
If you got a slot, man, give me a shout. Right now, my son's on the PC anyway, so I got Starfield on PC.
Yeah. My oldest, Thundermax, he's downloading Gears 5 to play with us, so we may have to load up some Atrium or Forge or something and go balls to the wall.
All right, guys. Well, be sure to check out Dicejunkies.com where you can find links to everywhere we are online. X, Facebook. I can't do it. Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell on our YouTube channel. And as every week,